Hey, chickadees. Today, we've got some very interesting cards that have come out. Our guides are guiding us to a message for sure. We are using, once again, the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Alberto Viodo and Colette Barron-Reed, my future friend. Thank you for the wombat YouTube video habit, Colette. You know what I'm talking about. Those baby wombats are irresistible. So, what are the guides telling us today? Well, they gave us 3 cards, and these cards have hints in them, so I'm just going to show them to you, and then we're going to talk about it. The first one is card number 22. This is the Fool's Embrace. Fool's Embrace. So this is transmuting pain, allowing pain to transmute into pleasure, and knowing that both things are true at the same time, and experiencing it that way. It's a crazy cocktail of emotions when that pain begins to transmute. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Card number 52 was the second card that came out. This is Straddling Worlds, Wandering Between Realms. Wandering Between Realms. And the third card that came out is card number 64. This is Woodwive's Adaptability. Woodwive's Adaptability. So what is the message they have for us, right? That's always the big question. And what they're telling us is that it is super important that we can hold 2 things at once, first of all, right? That we understand that most of life is not black and white. Most of it hangs out in the gray area, right? We try to shove it to black and white, or at least I do. But it truly, all of life lives in the gray area. And the Fool's Embrace, this transmuting pain card, is really all about just understanding that 2 things can be true at once, right? We can feel pain and grief and loss, and excitement and joy, right? And happiness. Those 2 things can coexist. And it is a weird, like I said, a weird cocktail when it does, because you kind of don't really know exactly what you're feeling. And the beautiful thing about that and not knowing what you're feeling is that you get to choose. We always get to choose how we feel. But there is a kind of a underlying grief that can happen, especially as we're in between worlds, which is the second card, right? We're straddling worlds, right? So this is about the being between realms in our lives, and this can be as simple as being somewhere either in the past or in the future, which if you're hanging out in either the past or the future, your number one job is to come back to now and get grounded in what's happening here, right now. And that's where the Woodwives can help you, because they're a grounding presence in your life that brings with them not only that resiliency and adaptability, but also flexibility to be able to handle and move with whatever comes at any given moment of your life. So when we're straddling worlds, that's important to know, because there's the 2 aspects of it. The first one is, if you're either in the past or in the future, get here now, number 1. But number 2, understand that we are always, because we are always progressing and evolving, on this path that we have, which is literally the cycle that's been downloaded to me, that we're going to talk more about here once it continues to fill in a little bit more. But this cycle doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So what does that mean, right? If you hang out in the future, you're always going to have something out there pulling you. And if you hang out in the past, you're always going to have something in the past holding you back. Whether it was something in your past that was good, or something in your past that was painful, that kind of seeped into your subconscious and starts to play this record, right? It's pulling you back. It's keeping you small. And the thing in your future, if you're looking towards the future, you're not present today and doing the things today that actually lead to what that is. And so the thing about thinking about the future is we focus on the destination rather than the journey to get to the destination. And it's the journey that's delicious. The destination is like, oh, okay, yep, I'm here, great. What next? So at least if you're like me, it's like, yeah, this is great. I worked really hard for this. And also, like, what's next? So, and I remember in high school, I was a gymnast in high school. And I remember when I was a junior in high school, I mean, I was driven. Oh my God, I was a driven human being. I probably drove everyone around me completely insane. My poor parents. So, no wonder they're both dead now. No, I'm kidding. But I was so driven by every single goal I had. And if I had a goal, like even before I met that goal, I had already set the next one and the next one and the next one. And I remember once this started to kind of break down a little bit for me was when I was in a senior in high school. And I had literally had most of my world ripped away from me because we moved halfway across the country between my junior and senior year in high school. So I clung to my goal, at the current goal, as like I was stuck to, like glued to it. I clung to it like my life depended on it, and frankly, it probably did in some ways. And that goal was that I was going to become the state champion gymnast in both vault well, in vault in particular, but bars would have been a nice second, right? But I was no good. I was good at floor and power moves, but I don't have a whole lot of flexibility, so not like gymnasts today need. But vault was something I'd love to do, and that was what I was going to finish. So I was laser focused on achieving that goal. Now, I had moved high schools. I actually had to go private because my high school didn't have a gymnastics team where we moved. And so I went private. I did achieve my goal, and it was lackluster. So the feeling that I had, because I had achieved this thing that I had wanted for so long, and I was empty. I was empty inside. And I had been chasing goal after goal after goal. I say my entire life. It was, 17 years of my existence so far on the planet at that time. But what I began to understand was, or what got into my subconscious was, goals let you down, right? And because when you achieve them, what's next, right? So if you're not continually chasing something, and you place your happiness and your identity on the things that you achieve, they're empty. So when we talk about straddling worlds and the fool's embrace and Woodwives, the adaptability, and this crazy story I'm telling you about my gymnastics career, which quickly and promptly ended right after that, at that point in time, mostly because I got really sick. When we talk about that in this context, the thing is, I was always living for the future, right? So I was setting these goals in the future, and I was not present in my day-to-day life as a result. Now, that served me well when I had moved halfway across the country. I knew nobody. I had maybe one friend. That was it, right? And I honestly don't even remember that. So, but I was focused on the goal to help me deal with the fact that I was so empty inside at that point in time in my life. So it served a purpose then. But it doesn't serve a purpose on an ongoing basis, right? And what I had realized was that if I'm chasing goals for the sole purpose of feeling better, achieving anything is not going to make me feel better, right? That's not what makes you feel better. What makes you feel better is turning inward and connecting to spirit. That's what makes you feel better. Understanding who you are, getting comfortable in your skin, calling in divine help where you need it, right? That's what makes you feel better. Building community makes you feel better. These are not things that are in the future. They're also not things in the past. They're things that are right now. So that's my little example. So when I stopped doing that, and then after I got healthy again, because like I said, I did get really sick for actually quite a few months. But once I started to settle into having a healthy body again and being in a place where I wasn't chasing goals, what I realized was then over like the next I don't know, let's just say 10 years, I wasn't setting goals. I had an averse reaction to them because I saw what they did to me. And so rather than coming back in balance, I just pushed them away and said, I'm just not going to set any goals, right? That is clearly not the case today. I have a very, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll let others decide in my life whether it's healthy right now, but I feel like I have a much healthier, view of goals. I do have a lot going on all the time, so, but when we talk about Fool's Embrace and Straddling Worlds and Woodwives and that adaptability, and we talk about it from being present in our lives today, right? The goals take their proper place. So if you're connected, which I assume all of us are on this channel, right? You're connected to spirit, connected to the divine, or at least curious about that, put that at the top of your priority list above your goals. And that's how you can actually begin to feel the Woodwives working in your life. You get that flexibility. You're guided through all of the challenges that come up in your life. And it's a very refreshing place to be. So, all right, chickadees. So that's it for today. Transmuting pain, knowing that pain and joy can exist at the same time. And two things can be true at once. You can be asked to walk and chew gum like I've been asked to do for the last year now. And call on the Woodwives to come and give you some flexibility and give you that adaptability that you need and the groundedness that you need as you go through these periods of and cycles of change in your life, which, spoiler alert, they're constant. So, all right, chickadees, have a fabulous day. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for being part of our community. If you would like to, we'd sure love for you to follow us or hit subscribe and go out and check out our website if you're interested in a personal oracle card reading or a clarity call. That we'd be happy to set you up with that. So, all right, take care. We'll see you next time. Mwah.